Hey, welcome back everybody to KSP Interstellar Quest. We have arrived at episode number 8, in which we, definitely are not ready to go interstellar yet. That is something for a future episode. We're going into a pretty high orbit, at least a pretty high orbit for this spacecraft. Because on the launch pad you will see the shuttle L'Esprit, the first shuttle that we built. It's been refitted after its first return to orbit. You remember we parked her in the meadows close to the KSC. She's been refitted and mated with an Atlas rocket. Now, why an Atlas rocket? Well, an Atlas rocket because we are going up in quite a high orbit. We are going to replicate the mission STS-125 to the Hubble Space Telescope. Because, as you may remember in episode 2, we put up the Deep Side telescope using the technology we had unlocked at that time, which was not very much. So it didn't have the proper holder for the telescope or the solar panels, but we were able to make pictures of all the main bodies, like the big planets, and I got a lot of science from that. So now we've unlocked more proper technologies, and it's time to retrofit our telescope. Of course, we could have put up a new one, probably cheaper, but it seemed like fun to do. You can see me planning the rendezvous and getting close to the target. We're using RCS to trim our orbit and get pretty close on our rendezvous burn. That's somewhere on the right hand side, if I recall correctly. There she is. We're matching velocities and then trying to get closer. Swinging this whole Atlas transfer stage around is not easy. But we need a delta V. We need at least 500, 600 meters per second to get there and 600 meters to get back. You can actually see the telescope from IVA, which is really, really cool. At my first attempt, I blasted the engine a little bit too close to the telescope. You would never do that in real life. You would put so much debris and smudge on the lenses. And here you can see Bill frantically trying to attach a docking node, which was also something new, which I couldn't manage on the place I had intended it to be. So we put her somewhere else and prayed that the telescope would be able to dock properly, that there would be enough clearance with the shuttle, which will prove to be true. Here we are docked. We're installing a new camera unit. We're installing the logistic units. Not that we need it, but it's nice to keep storage up there. And a new gyroscope. And here we are, everything lined up. And then we struggled a lot to find the proper place to control the telescope. And here she is free flowing. She's using the right control nodes. And she's taking pictures of the moons of Juna and of Jewel. Like we can see Bob and we can see... I don't think we could see Lathe yet. I think it was just lingering behind Jewel. We'll do that at some later point in time. I'm not making photos of everything, but it's nice to net like 500, 600 science from this renewed and beautiful looking telescope. In real life, STS-125 went up there in 2009, added gyroscopes to the telescope and new batteries, basically extending the Hubble's life for a very long time. She's falling apart at the moment, but she had an amazing career and still one of the better pieces of instruments we have out there. We are returning not directly to launch as the space shuttle did. I'm not sure if this shuttle can actually handle it, but we're lowering the orbit and we're going to use the transfer stage to put us in a parking orbit, something around, let's say, 100 kilometers up, just like you would return from a space station, because I know we can do that. I'm still trying to figure out what the exact angle of attack is and the deorbit burn. So I deorbit and I use MacJeb landing guidance and landing prediction to see if I get close to my KSC landing point. I go in at a 90-degree angle that will put the landing circle forward, like the blue triangle. And if I flip to like 40 degrees, as the space shuttle would do, I will actually extend my blue triangle thingy forwards until they line up. This is us blowing through the sound barrier as we descend. We should be within 1 or 2 kilometers of the launch site. I typically end up a little bit too high, and I struggled a bit with the cloud layer. I can see KC in the distance, and I thought I had a nice altitude, but I'm actually way too high up. But Jeb is an experienced pilot, and Bill, after having performed its miracles on the Space Telescope, is totally relaxed and giving navigation points to Jeb, who is lining up for the runway. Here we go. Making a final turn. Now the shuttle would make like these S turns, and I should have done that. But for some reason I said, well, why not use runway 20? Just make a turn around, then I should probably be low enough and get there. But you can see the plane is really wobbly, and it doesn't really have enough authority to stay up there. If it's like 100 meters per second, 120, I can fly the plane. And below that, it's really, really hard. So it's dropping down like a brick. But I have full faith in Jeb, which will prove to be wrong. Anyway, we may want to build a better shuttle next episode. See you then.